Let's take a look at my official Stevie Wonder albums tier list, where I'll be rating every single one of Stevie Wonder's officially released albums. My system is simply based on my personal preferences, so obviously this won't match everyone else's personal liking. Like I always say, everybody's welcome to go and make their own video. So just to preface everything, the rankings are from S being the best, and then we work our way down to F. In this case, S stands for Stevie is the greatest. A is for all-time classics. B is for better than good. C is for could be better, could be worse. D is for don't think I'll be listening to this many more times. E is for exactly enough to not be the worst. And F is for fully failed, fraudulent, F flat. I'll do this alphabetically, but in reverse, starting at the last letter. Why does A get all the love? Shout out to the Z's and the Y's and the W's of the world. Okay, song number 1, With a Song in My Heart. Not starting off strong here. Seems like an album of B-sides. To Stevie's credit, these aren't originals. It's all covers. And I do like Dream and Smile. Where I'm coming from, a couple of tunes on here, but I don't feel this one is hitting enough. It's saved by decent tracks like If You Really Love Me, Think of Me as Your Soldier, Never Dreamed You Leaving Summer, and Sunshine in Their Eyes. One notable side note is that Stevie stopped doing covers from this album on. For Uptight, the title track gave this album life, but I'll pass. Tribute to Uncle Ray, a legend covering a legend. This project is just not my vibe though. I would love to see what 80s Stevie would have done with this. This one features all covers except Sunset. I respect Stevie honoring his mentor. I mean, look at me, that's what I'm trying to do here. The Woman in Red, a satisfying soundtrack to me. I just can't really stand I Just Called to Say I Love You. It's like a Diet Stevie record, and the only reason the whole album doesn't get a B or better. The Jazz Soul of Little Stevie avoided an F because it features Stevie's breakout tune, Fingertips. The rest is history from that point on. We reach our first compilation, the Definitive Collection, an unnecessary compilation. It's missing a lot of what I like, and for no reason. Good songs though, obviously. It's all hits. The Complete Stevie Wonder. I mean, this is that Galaxy Brain meme. Genius. Clever. Just include like every Stevie Wonder album, basically. The Best of Stevie Wonder, the Millennium Collection. I want to give this 2 Fs because it's from 2005 and not adding anything useful to the compilation conversation. The Best of Stevie Wonder, the Christmas Collection. As advertised, it does its job, which is sum up the Stevie Christmas classics. I'm just not crazy about most of the songs on here. The Ballad Collection. Theme compilations are a good way to go for Stevie, seeing he has such a diverse music catalog. This makes sense for Stevie's ballads. It's cohesive. Talking Book. Great work by Mr. Wonder. Tuesday Heartbreak is about his most underrated tune ever. You and I is about his most underrated ballad. Maybe Your Baby might be the funkiest track you never heard of, if you're not with the program already. Stevie Wonder's original Musiquarium 1. Does anybody else put out compilations that feature unreleased tracks? Stevie did that a good amount of times, and for 1982, I appreciate that this one featured what was his more recent classics at the time, rather than just early Motown sounding stuff. It's all previous release songs except Frontline, Ribbon in the Sky, That Girl, and Do I Do. Stevie Wonder's Journey Through the Secret Life of Plants. I give an E for effort and C for creativity, so let's average this out to a D. I love Send One Your Love and Power Flower, personally. They feel like they belonged on Songs in the Key of Life, not as life rafts on a throwaway soundtrack. Stevie Wonder Live is hanging on by a letter only because of My Cherie Amour, which, as we'll see, has saved a bunch of other compilations to come. Stevie at the Beach. Okay, I acknowledge this. I'm not doing anything more than that. A rough one. Songs in the Key of Life. Put in the A in classic. All-time LP. Go listen front to back if you don't know yet. I don't have much to add other than Ngikulela is my personal favorite. I don't hear a lot talked about that one. There's a lot going on in there musically. Very complex song, very pretty, very bright. All the stuff that I love in Stevie. To me, it sums Stevie up perfectly. And Stevie singing in 3 different languages, which just reflects his versatility. The main thing I love about him. Song review, a greatest hits collection, single disc edition. This version added 6 different songs that the 2 disc doesn't have, but it also cut out a large group of jams. All I Do I Do, Hey Love. So it drops and drops some more because by that time in 96, Stevie's got hundreds of songs in the air already. So why was this the final selection? What was the goal? Song review, a greatest hits collection, double disc edition. Not the most necessary compilation. Hits on hits though, by definition. Note that there's no Isn't She Lovely for some reason. Someday at Christmas. Good for the Christmas holiday season. But then that's that. I'm only really bumping the Christmas song from this, honestly. Signed, Sealed, and Delivered. Not my favorite. I got not too much to say. Recorded live, The 12-Year-Old Genius. Again, avoided an F because it featured Stevie's breakout tune. Plus it was wild early for the boy. He was literally a boy, either 12 or 13 during that year. All songs previous released except La 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 and The Masquerade Is Over. No, La 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 is not my Cherie Amour. Don't get fooled, this is a different song. Number ones, a unique themed one, so I'll let the redundancy slide here. But I don't think it's all the number ones, so I'm a little confused. Natural Wonder, a live compilation album, pretty unique. This was in the 90s and surprisingly didn't include much of the 80s hits. So for that, I feel like I'm repeating myself too much by saying that this wasn't offering much to the compilation conversation. It's all previous release stuff, except Dancing to the Rhythm, Stevie Ray Blues, Missin' Mr. Little Ones, and Stay Gold. My Cherie Amour, the greatest title track of an album ever, but I'm not in love with the remaining selection. So subjectively, I'm biased because My Cherie Amour is my favorite song. Objectively, this could have gotten an E. Check out Stevie's rendition of At Last though. Heat. Music of My Mind. Ah man, not talked about enough. Seems So Long is pretty much my favorite ballad of all time, and definitely my favorite ending to a song of all time. Superwoman is 2 whole songs in one that are completely different. At the end, you have Where Were You When I Needed You. There's just a lot of dynamics going on. I love every little thing about you. Real cute tune. Stevie even threw in some folk in there with Happier Than the Morning Sun. You got classic blues with Sweet Little Girl. And Stevie even gets playful with the talking on that. Just let the replay play over and over and over again. Love songs, 20 classic hits. I love the love theme. And this has Hey Love, plus my other timeless piece, Until You Come Back to Me. Yet another unsung hero of Stevie's. Granted, Aretha Franklin took it and ran with it all the way to a touchdown. Can't go wrong with either version though. Love Song 16 classic hits. I prefer the 20 song supersized option better. Looking Back, aka Anthology. I never heard of an album that has 2 different names. It got upgraded for being the first to feature the elusive banger I spoke about, Until You Come Back to Me. A lot of excessive compiling otherwise. That's the only tune from here that was not previous released. This album is a lot of excessive compiling otherwise. Live at the Talk of the Town. Another live compilation. I try to be objective by considering the release time, and this seems like just a concert from a day back then. And it's not often that a drum solo has its own track on an album. I'm just gonna keep saying that Stevie is the greatest musician ever, and let's move on. Jungle Fever, one of my favorite soundtracks all time. Oxymoron, because it's very playful and upbeat, and it's very deep and serious. Stevie was able to successfully throw all of that into a blender somehow. Innervisions, come on, Golden Lady on an album is a gun to a knife fight. Always winning me over with that one. That might be one of the best arranged songs ever made. The drum pattern, the synth, the bass line, the organ, the modulations, the transitions, the solo, the lyrics, the vocal tone. I can keep going if you want to talk to me privately after this. Don't you worry about a thing. Helped me learn a lot of chords, all the keys with those chromatic drops. Too High is stupid, unique, and funky. Higher Ground has the greatest use of clavinets in history. In Square Circle, this album means a lot to me. I'm too biased for this. I'll go in order of the track listings. I don't even really love Part-Time Lover, but it just takes me back to such a good time and nostalgia. I Love You Too Much, nostalgia. Whereabouts, nostalgia. Stranger on the Shore of Love, nostalgia. Never in Your Sun, nostalgia. Go Home, nostalgia. Overjoyed, you get the point. My one critique though is 3 critiques. I could do without Spiritual Walkers, Land of Lala, and It's Wrong, but I respect them. I Was Made to Love Her only gets bumped up for having such a solid title track. Jameson and that bass, man, trouble. How do you get a song so in the pocket using only one right finger? Hotter Than July. This is another Key of Life leftover feel to me. Like I would pull out Lately and All I Do, put them where they belong on Songs in the Key of Life. You might want to thank this album though for giving you the Martin Luther King holiday with Happy Birthday, plus a real B-Day anthem for a large part of the population. Greatest Hits Volume 2, too many throwaway compilations for me. This is yet another one. Motown was milking the kid. Greatest Hits, the first one, too early for Greatest Hits in my opinion. Stevie was like 5 years into the game, let alone just 17 years old, still a minor, which is wild in itself. So okay, move it up to an E for that. Fulfillingness' first finale, unique title, alliteration obviously, but only obviously if you know what alliteration is. Some sneaky bangers on this one. Creepin', Please Don't Go, Smile Please, Too Shy to Say, I'm with it. For Once in My Life, I'm not really moved by this one, sorry. For Once in My Life is a cool song though, I'll admit that. Essential Stevie Wonder, not so essential to me, and this is 1987 I believe, which is my birth year, so that's a special one for me. There's more than enough essential tracks to replace some of the ones here. Eivets Rednow, one of my favorite titles, is just Stevie Wonder's first and last name backwards. And how do you make a classic instrumental album as a primarily vocal act? Dude is elite. Early classics. Is My Cherie Amour not an early classic? Where is it? I don't get it. Also, super unneeded overall. There's enough of this type of compilation already. Maybe they were convinced that Y2K was gonna happen, so they needed to remind the world who Stevie is. I don't know. Down to Earth, Hey Love is mainly it for me. Sylvia is decent. Thank You Love. Moving on. Conversation Piece. Random versatility is again the main reason I love Stevie. But this is the dark side of that. This album is out of place for me. But I guess this is Stevie in his mid-90s bag. And E should be fine. Characters. Love it. My birth year, again, 1987. I hope I was learning my first words and notes to this. Crying Through the Night takes me to a place. With each beat of my heart features some type of kick drum that serves as the literal heartbeat in the song. I think it's just Stevie's voice, actually, like quasi beatboxing. You Will Know is a beautiful song, all-time ballad. At the Close of a Century, another Costco, Sam's Club style bulk edition of Stevie hits. Pretty much hit all the good stuff. It helped me learn a lot about music theory. This is a winner. And finally, we reached the last album to review, which turns out to be Stevie's last originally released project. It's more random feeling songs, but at least it's more cohesive to my liking. Stevie got a duet with his daughter, Aisha Morris, on How Will I Know, which has to be like the top bucket list item to accomplish. I also like True Love, From the Bottom of My Heart, Moon Blue, the title track, A Time to Love, featuring India.Arie, and what I just found out, Paul McCartney is a backing musician. Just a quick bullet point, Wikipedia lists 2 suspect releases by some label named Classic Mood Experience, right after the other, November 2016 and then December 2016. I can't verify that these had Stevie's or Stevie's team's blessing. The first, Fantastic Music for Christmas, in parentheses, all the greatest tracks, is pretty much just the same Christmas compilation from 2004. The best of Christmas, in parentheses, fantastic relaxing songs, is not even a Christmas album. Plus Stevie already used that best of Christmas card already, let alone this same year in 2016. But enough of that. Let's wrap this up. If any of the other previously mentioned albums are unfamiliar to you, go do yourself a service and listen, digest, reflect, repeat. Thank you to Stevie Wonder and everyone else involved for all of the great music I talked about. It won't be the last time that I'll be listening to most of it.